Welcome back to Teach English Now. We hope you enjoyed the second module related to both warm-ups and objective discussions. Let's review some of the information to prepare you for the final checkpoint quiz. First, we discussed the concept that students are not empty vessels. Thus, a warm-up is an activity that shouldn't just teach new information, but can link that information to ideas and knowledge that students already have. In a sense, a warm-up stirs up past ideas, introduces new ideas, and creates a bond between the two, thus reinforcing learning.
Warm-ups are also intriguing to learners and, when done well, can gain learners' attention. This is commonly done, for example, through the use of visuals, question prompts, and small videos. Remember the idiomatic expression, prime the pump, which means that a little bit of water in a dry pump can be a catalyst for helping that pump to bring forth a lot of water. Similarly, a little activity like a warm-up can create a tremendous amount of brain activity and participation in your classroom.
We also introduced the concept of an objective discussion. We defined objectives as specific end goals that demonstrate clear competencies that you want your learners to acquire. These lesson plan objectives are smaller than the massive goal of learning English.
We discussed the fact that objectives are often set by administrators who create curriculum guides or by publishers and authors who put out textbooks, but that lesson plan objectives are often best served by being put into the hands of teachers based on the purposes and needs of their learners. We even shared our own purposes with you by talking about the professional teaching portfolio we eventually hope will serve as a meaningful product that you can show employers and use throughout your service as an English teacher.
We then went through some common mistakes that teachers make when writing objectives, such as the fact that many teachers confuse an objective with an activity. Remember, activities are the means and not the end of instruction. Also, objectives should not be vague, and objectives that use words that show a state of mind are difficult to assess. Thus, make sure that your objectives are observable and measurable. By the way, we will get into measurements and assessments in Module 5. For now, just keep in mind that you want to make sure your objectives reflect some kind of assessment. Finally, an objective should be worthwhile, meaning that it should teach objectives that matter. We discuss corpus linguistics as a tool to help you consider teaching that which is most needed. To say it simply, consider your audience when making objectives, and consider their needs more than your own needs to teach cool but maybe less important linguistic points.
And finally, we discussed how an objective discussion generally happens at the beginning of a lesson, but can occur later on. In general, a good objective discussion clearly states the instructional objective, checks for understanding, establishes specifics, and helps students to discuss the importance of the objective.
We hope you enjoyed learning about warm-ups and objectives. It is now time to start taking the information we have given you to create your own lesson plan. Are you excited? I hope so. In the writing prompt that follows this video, you will be asked to think of a theme, such as family, money, friendship, or travel, and create a warm-up and an objective discussion to go along with that theme. Take your time to look at the models we have provided for you, and make sure you get on discussion boards to share your ideas of what you think might work. You'll obviously have to think about what kind of learners you are teaching and what materials you'll be using. But have fun with it. Think outside the box and try to come up with an objective that is clear and makes sense. We recognize that this may be difficult for some of you who have not taught before, but give it a shot. Rely on your colleagues and do your best.
Now that we've discussed the first three of Gagne's 9 events, in our next module we'll move on to discuss the fourth event, which is present instruction. We'll introduce ways to effectively present instruction and model for your students and show you some examples of teachers in action. See you there on Teach English Now.